Hello geometry students, today we are going to do section 11.5 extra practice problems from Big Idea Student Journal, Geometry, and that is volumes of prisms and cylinder. It's on page number 337 to 338. So let's get started. So very first thing, I already told you that in our previous section, whenever you have to find the volume of prisms or cylinder, one thing you have to keep in mind, the volume formula is simply base area times height. No matter what shape it is, like it's a prism or it's a cylinder, so you have to just identify the base, find the base area and find the perpendicular height and multiply it. So it applies to both prisms and cylinders. So let's use the same logic here. So when I look at my first question, I see the bases, they're just the identical faces facing each other. So here in that case, my base will be this one. That's a triangular prism. They're facing each other, they're the same shape. I need to know the area of this base, this triangle, and I have the height given. This is the height for this. Just it's horizontal, placed horizontally, but when you look at it carefully, it's actually a triangular prism. It's a triangular prism. All right, so you have to have the same formula. What you're supposed to do, V equal to base area times height, and base is actually, this is a triangle, and triangle is base times height over 2. So for this one, this I will have base is this part 3 and the height is 1.5. So we will be writing 3 times 1.5. Now let's write down the other information. That's the height of the prism, that is this 5 centimeters. So I'll just multiply 5 here, and that's it. And here actually I forgot to divide it by 2 for triangle, base area, base times height over 2. So this part here, this thing is this part and this thing is this part. All right, so let me remove that. And now you simply use the calculator and solve it. So because you're not going to get exact value, your answer is going to be equal to 11.3 centimeters square to the nearest 10th. All right, let's move to another question here. Now we have another prism here, and what's the shape here? When we look at it, it's actually one. It's actually, you can check, this is 1 2 3 4 5. It's actually pentagonal prism. It's a pentagonal prism. So but in this case, we don't have to worry about finding the area of that, because they already gave us the area of this identical base. They already gave it, the area of the base is 10 inches square. So that's, they already gave us 10 inches square. We don't have to find it out, but it is an oblique. Keep in mind, it's an oblique pentagonal prism. It's not, the faces are not aligned exactly on top of each other. So this is the height we are supposed to take here. So our volume in that case is going to be same funda will be applied, base area times height. And good thing that we don't have to calculate base area, that's already given 10, and height is what, 4 of this prism, oblique prism, and that's going to be not roughly, actually it's exactly equal to 40 inches square. So that's the answer. All right, I hope you get it. Let's move to second question, question number 3. Question number 3, now cylinder. As I told you, for cylinder also we have the same logic. Volume is base area times height. Just, and base in this case is circle. So that's pi r square h. So you have to use that. Up to you. You can start with this formula or you can start with that. Both are same. I'll be using the second one. V equal to, here I'll be writing V equal to pi r square h. So we have to identify our r, that's our r, and h is this 7 height. Just plug it in. pi 2.5 whole square, and height is what, 7. Now one thing you have to be super careful, because you don't want deviated values. You have to use pi button in your calculator. You're not supposed to plug in 3.14, otherwise your value will be little bit deviated. When you plug it in and you round it to the nearest 10, because it's not going to be exact, you get 137.4 inches cubed. That's your answer for this cylinder. Keep in mind, volume's unit is unit cube. So this was a right cylinder. In this case, that's a right cylinder. But when I look at question number 4, that's an oblique. What you see, it's an oblique cylinder, because here it's tilted. The centers are not aligned on top of each other. It's fine. So we apply the same formula. V is equal to pi r square h. You can use base area times height or this one. I need the radius of the base, and the radius is given here is 2, and height, keep in mind, this is not the height, this is the height here, that's 11. So pi times 2 square, and height is 11. So we plug it in and we simplify. We get round to the nearest 10th, 138.2 centimeter cubed. All right, that's centimeter cubed. So that's our answer. Sometimes the question says give the answer in terms of pi, then you simply multiply. Like in this case, if they say give the answer in terms of pi, then I would be giving, I just multiply the numbers. This is 4, this part is 4, and this is 11, 44 pi. So that way I would be writing my answer. All right, same way, if they say give the answer in terms of pi, leave pi, multiply remaining things, and that times pi would be your answer, centimeter cubed. Okay, let's move to question number 5. Height, they say find the indicated measure. Height of the cylinder with a base radius 8 and 8 inches and volume is given. If you just imagine that's a cylinder here, you have to find height. You don't know how much is that, but they gave you this is 8, this base radius is 8, but they gave you the volume, and volume is this. So you already know the volume formula, so just use that volume formula. Volume for cylinder is pi r square h. Now what you need to do, just plug in the values here. Volume is 2010 pi. R is given 8 square. Height is not given. No need to worry. It means I have to solve it for h. I have to divide both sides by pi 8 square. And pi 8 square is actually 64 pi. I can directly, so it's going to be 2010, divide both sides by 64 pi. That's our value of h. How do I get 64 pi? When I solve this, I get 64 pi. Both sides, when you divide, you get this. And when you simplify it, your h is going to be further. Your h is, when you simplify this expression, your answer is going to be, in your calculator, will look like this, and so on. If you're rounding to the nearest 10, so it's roughly equal to 10 inches. That's your height for this cylinder. All right, keep in mind, don't plug in 3.14, use pi button. Now we're moving to the next question. It's about pentagonal prism. We have to find area of base of pentagonal prism. Volume is given and the height is given. So if I'm talking about pentagonal prism, so the base is going to be something like this, and same way on top it is like this, and it should be looking like that. It may not look that good. So if we are sorry, the picture is not good. So if our base area is supposed to be calculated, you use the same thing. I know that V is base area times height. It's a prism. I'm not using pi r square h, is base area times height. Volume is given 50 cubic centimeter. Base area supposed to be calculated, so I just leave it as it is. Height is 7.5. It's simple question, just solve it for b. Divide both sides by 7.5. You get 50 over 7.5 equal to b. And when you calculate, your b is going to be roughly equal to nearest 10, 6.7 centimeter square. That's your answer. All right, let's move to last two problems. Question number 7 here. We have been given two pictures here and we have to find missing dimension. So we have to, first case is about prism, second case is about cylinder. So this is prism here and this is cylinder here. All right, and we have to find missing value. So missing is this one, that here I don't know that what's the width of this. And keep in mind what it is. This is the base is what actually when you look at this prism, it's a rectangular prism and we have to find this, but they already gave us the volume. So easy, just use the same formula. Volume is base area times height, and volume is given 661.5. Base area, it's a rectangle, so what's the area of rectangle? That's length times width. Just multiply. No matter if they have just given y, I'll just use it as the same way. And height they have given me, that's 3.5. Just plug it in. And now it's just, it looks like an equation. Solve it for y. So I divide both sides by 18 times 3.5. So if I divide 18 times 3.5 on both sides, I will have 661.5 over 18 times 3.5 equal to y. And when you solve it, you get exact value of 10.5 centimeter. That's your answer here. Now you have last question, that's about cylinder. Cylinder here, your volume is already given here, that's, and the height of the cylinder is 6 inch, but the radius is missing. R is not given. It means our work is to find R. No problem, just do the same way. Use volume is base area times height. Plug in your values. Volume is given 75.36. Base area is what? It's not given. I know the base is a circle. It's supposed to be pi r square. R is not given. I just write it as it is. No need to worry. And height is what? 6. Now I need to find R. I am supposed to solve it for R. So let's divide both sides by 6 pi. When I divide by both sides by 6 pi, R square is what? 75.36 over 6 pi. But we're not finding the value of R square. We're supposed to find R. So let's take square root of both sides. And that's going to be 75.36 over 6 pi. And when I solve it, when you do in your calculator, you will be seeing numbers like this. So I have to roughly approximately round it up to the nearest tenth, so that's going to be 2 inches. All right, so that's all. Let me know if you don't get it. Thank you so much.